You speak, we listen. Conversations connecting people. This is the Chuck Williams Show.
You're talking quality of life.
Yep.
Why is that important? Why do I care if I've got a Dragonfly Trail to ride my bike out to Salmon Road, or if I can put a kayak in the river in Whitewater? Why is that important?
That's a fantastic question, and I'll start So first of all, there are a lot of reasons why it matters, and I'll start with again that quality of life piece being a huge workforce retention tool. Being a thing that makes people not only grow up here and get educated here, but want to stay here and build a family and find the right career path and job here in this community, not having to leave for opportunity. The other thing is, it is things like the Dragonfly, things like Standing Boy, things like the sports facilities that we have.
The mountain bike trail at Standing Boy.
Mountain bike trail, at Standing Boy. The arts centers, thinking about the River Center and the Bartlett exhibit and just different things of that nature. What those things also become are economic stimulus. Those are things that drive investment through our community in ways that we don't typically think about. And when you look at, and I'll go back to the Dragonfly, you look at the Dragonfly and where it traverses and the potential that it has to be a revitalization catalyst for parts of the community that haven't seen investment or rehab of houses in a long time. Those things start to happen. And of course, we want to do those things or support those things with the neighbors and communities remaining in place.
It's funny you should talk about the Dragonfly Trail, because I got back on the bicycle this summer because I was looking for something to do on Saturdays when I thought we may not have college football. Mm-hmm. It was a self-preservation thing for me. And one thing I noticed is I would pick the Dragonfly up right there about at 2nd Avenue, right there by the YMCA. Yep. And I'd go all the way to Salmon Road and come back. And I did it probably 5, 6, 7 times. Mm-hmm. And one thing I noticed about that trail was you went past the whole medical community. You went past housing that was workforce housing. Yep. Then you got into upper end housing once you cleared Warm Springs Road and started out toward Miller Road. And that way, I fully understand what you're saying because I spent some time on my bike on that trail. Yep. And that brings me to you came here from the Beltline project in Atlanta.
Correct. Yep.
Is that our Beltline project and we just don't know it?
Absolutely. And I think there are some people who know it, but the community at large hasn't embraced it in that way yet.
Define the Beltline project so people listening will have an understanding, and then we can kind of expand on this. Yeah. Because this is fascinating to me.
Yeah, so the Atlanta Beltline is a 22-mile, mostly abandoned rail corridor that encircles the heart of the city of Atlanta. And that rail corridor in segments has been being acquired by an organization called the Atlanta Beltline, Inc. Well,
that's who you work for.
That's who I worked for. And the Atlanta Beltline, Inc.'s role was to turn that abandoned rail system into a multi-use trail system or trail network for the city. Now, about 80% of our team at the Atlanta Beltline, Inc. worked to actually rebuild those trails in that corridor. About 10% of the people were administrative, and then the other 10% of us worked to activate the areas around the trail. Meaning you look at abandoned, distressed, dilapidated buildings, and you figure out how we develop strategies to bring those things back into productive use. And then start to catalyze growth in communities. And it's one of the biggest things that I've learned about economic development. And it was, in traditional economic development, what I was focused on was really a transactional view on job creation.
Home runs.
You're looking for a piece of property. You're looking for a company that has a need. You're, for lack of a better way to put it, you're having a marriage or doing a wedding ceremony. Yep. And you're driving incentives into it, and then you move on to the next one. But when looking at what I call non-traditional economic development, or the activity that you would see at for instance, a Beltline or New York High Line or the River LA project or one of these other types of projects, it's a whole lot less transactional. When you do a deal in a particular area or part of town, what you're interested in addition to that particular deal and its ability to deliver jobs and private investment, is the ability for that to lift the entire node that it's in.